Well, it's certainly disappointing. We know that contamination and recyclables is a challenge for the city collection as well as pretty much everyone in North America. The response seems pretty extreme. We certainly don't want recyclable materials to end up in the garbage, and there's a lot of recyclables that are more than just cardboard. So paper, packaging are all recyclable materials that we want to see collected and recycled and not ending up in the landfill.
So if an industrial collector like Waste Connections of Canada was to arrive at the landfill with a lot of, what we typically see as recycling material in the back, what would happen?
So any truck that brings garbage or mixed garbage to the landfill for disposal that contains a lot of recyclable materials is subject to a $150 per ton surcharge at the gate. So if we find a truck has a lot of recyclables and is using that or throwing that in the garbage, we will add a fine to their fee.
But could the hauler not argue if they were to take the person around and say, look, it's contaminated. This is not clean enough to be recycling anyway. Would they have an argument?
Well, they would, in that by the time it gets to the landfill and it's been mixed with garbage, it is garbage. But it's up to that hauler from that point on in the future to make sure that the garbage that they collect at the site or at the property or at the building is actually garbage and free of recycling. So that's the point where they really have to make the decision as to whether and keep recyclables out of the garbage.
Right. We've since spoken to Waste Connections about this, and it starts to sound more like this was more of a shot across the bow, more of a kind of a reading of the Riot Act to get people to improve on how much waste material, how much dirty material winds up in the recycling. Is that a big problem, that sort of contamination issue?
Contamination, because of more recent worldwide changes, contamination is an issue across North America. It's not just a Kelowna issue, it's everywhere in Canada and the United States. And we all have to do a better job of thinking before we put something in our blue box, make sure that it is recyclable. And if it's not recyclable, then it should go in the garbage.
Does it alarm you to see that one of the major players in the collection of recyclables is getting to this point on that topic?
Well, it's disappointing, and it could certainly be the case of a specific building and frustrations out of a certain building. But the challenge with contamination and recycling is an ongoing one and a larger one, and it's affecting all recycling collectors.
So does that issue make it harder for Recycling BC to find an end user for all the stuff that we continue to collect?
Yes, it does. And as we explained to Council yesterday, it also is likely to affect our ability to provide the service we do at the price we do. So we could end up seeing higher costs to sort recyclable material and remove the contaminants before it can get recycled, or else if a load has got too much contamination in it, it will end up in the landfill, and we don't want to have that.
So the good news about this flare-up is that it does highlight a pretty important issue, that everybody, whether you're in a multifamily building or if you're at home, don't put the dirty stuff in the recycling.
Absolutely. Really, the regional district has a great website as to what is recyclable. Have a look at that and refresh your memory as to what that is and what's recyclable. Things like toys, even though they're plastic, aren't allowed in our recycling bin. And a lot of people might think that they are just because they got the recycling logo. So really have a look at the website and think paper and packaging. I think that's the primary thing. And if you can restrict yourself to paper and packaging, you should be 90% of the way there.
Terrific. Kevin Van Vliet, Utilities Manager, City of Kelowna, thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
And thank you for watching Kelowna Now.